The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. Come to you live every weeknight at midnight Eastern, and we talk about guns for an hour. So something is weird here. It's telling me that nobody's out there, but there are in fact at least 2 people chatting out there. So, and the duck. So we'll see who all shows up tonight. This is a live chat, episode 1138. So unlike the little tiny baby chats that are out there, that are under 100 episodes. We've been doing this for a while. We're like the Yoda of gun chats. We've been doing it longer than anybody, and we're still kicking. And Erstwhile is out there. All right, good. So now we can close this window, and I'll open up Illustrator. I couldn't remember the name of that tool, so we'll draw that stuff tonight. So let's see. We're in episode 1100 whatever, and at this point, we've gone through a couple of versions of the format, and right now we're in a conversation mode. So we run the show live each weeknight. We throw out the link, and if you want to join in, feel free. We talk about guns and whatnot. No, not at all. But we're all able to interact using Al Gore's imagination, using the internet's to influence each other's thoughts and actions. I hope. So, so I'm going to throw a link out there. If Erstwhile wants to jump in, feel free. But Erstwhile asked me to help him out with a logo, and I never knew what that logo was. I guess I'll put it up here. I never knew what that thing was. I thought it was a Space 1999 gun, but it's not. So I can't remember. I was going to start working on it the other night, but I don't remember what you called that tool. So let me know what that tool is called. Otherwise, I'm going to go over here and try to find, I opened up a file that we can start working on. Under here and under here, I think. And is it here? There it is. Thanks. So it's a tooth caliper. Thanks. I couldn't remember. Yeah, need to get with you at some point too, because I think I found something that we might be able to work on. EER. I saw a guy do something that was pretty darn cool, but his contraption cost $1,800, and there's no possible way I'm paying $1,800 for this thing because I'll make one first. And once I make one, I'm going to need your assistance to make a piece of aluminum for the end of it, if you're still game. All right, so we got 2 different kinds here, the digital and the analog. I'm going to go with analog, I'm guessing, because yours isn't digital, it's analog. So, big question is, what orientation, right? In your thing, it's in that, whatever you want to call orientation. But here they're showing it being used this way. So I don't know what orientation the thing gets used most often. Right on. Oh, you want me to wait and draw it on Friday then? We can do that. And then it's a lot less lag and whatnot. Or I can do it right now. You can have it right now. But anyhow, so this thing, I guess, is a caliper for checking the teeth of stuff. And I imagine it must do depth and whatever this measurement would be, because actually it's probably doing a couple of things when you look at it on this gear. It's doing depth of the teeth. It's doing probably something here who's going to measure the radius of the whole thing. And then maybe that's giving you angle of the teeth also. So it's probably measuring a couple of things, but it's definitely giving you a depth of the tooth as well as the difference in depth between these two teeth, I bet. And then, of course, the width. Right on. So what do we got going on here? You got a Lee 4 turret press. You bought a 4 turret press as your first press, or you say you're just starting to reload and you already been doing it for a while and you already went through a single stage?
Nope, I went with the 4 turret to start. I haven't reloaded at all.
Was it
Just
based on that? Did they give you that advice?
just kind of learning. I wanted something a little better than a single, and
Not
it wasn't.
better. Okay.
I figured the cost wasn't too much more, so
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the stages or turrets or whatever they're called. So who gave you that advice, or you just did it?
I'm just just decided on my own.
Okay. Because the thing is, it's just so much more. It's like 4 times more opportunity to miss something. And when you're brand new, I like a single press only because that's something that you're going to want no matter what forever. Like you're never not going to want a single press for doing just individual things once in a while. And sometimes, oh, I don't know how it's hard to explain. Like, sometimes when you're driving, you're going real fast, you need to get somewhere. Other times you're Sunday driving, you just want to enjoy the drive. So sometimes a single press can be super useful for a tool. And then sometimes it's just nice to be able to really play with it. And you just can't play with a progressive turret press. There's just too much to deal with.
That
So
was
it's kind of like a
something
motorcycle.
I kind of realized that just for like depriming, because with the 4 stage, you deprime and then you got to go around again.
Yeah,
with the
like I
single
say,
stage, it's just
those things only exist because they were part of the development from nothing to the whatever they call the fancy, what do they call, I can't think of the name right now, the automatic kind of
the
progressive kind, right?
Yeah.
So the progressive, totally worth having if you need to do quantity or you know what you're doing and you can just monitor and you can handle a bunch of stuff at once, because it's obviously monkey work. Like there's nothing there that is super critical once you know to be aware of everything. Once you've got some experience, it's all just tiny little tasks and it's all simple. But like I say, to learn, I always recommend with the single, just because that other one, like I say, is just so tedious. And I don't really think you're going to learn much with your multi, except you're going to get a lot more mistakes than other people, I suspect, because you got more opportunity. Like I say, the numbers are against you. You got the opportunity to forget something. You don't know. Just like dry practice, everybody thinks, oh, easy. Keep your bullets away from your gun. Easy. Until you get a phone call, until you have kids, until you have a dog, until there's a noise outside, until like a billion different things that cause the accident that no one planned for. And that's what happens with reloading. You don't realize all the distractions until you actually experience years worth of things that distract you. And then you don't realize you've been distracted until you have the consequences of blowing up a gun or getting a squib. More often than not, you get a squib, right? It's kind of hard to blow up a gun. You have to really be not paying attention to over powder stuff, but I guess it can happen on certain cartridges, right, where there's room. Yeah. But anyway, all right, so I don't know. So now that I've been mansplained on why you bought the wrong press or whatever, what caliber are you doing? Like stupid 9mm or good caliber?
No, to start with 40 and 10.
Oh yeah, good. Because I hate 9mm. For one of the reasons I hate it is because it's such a dinky little stupid caliber. You got to use tweezers if you got a normal size hand. So yeah, like 10 at least gives you something. Like I think 45 and 44 is the best to start with, because it's just like a giant crayons or big fat Legos. Like, you're dealing with big giant round things that are really hard to mess up. I guess it's possible to over powder a 44 Magnum. I don't think it's quite so bad with 10 and with 45 and stuff, because there's just not enough room in the case to over powder it. I don't think the bullet wouldn't go in, right? So 40 and which one?
A 10.
Oh yeah. So basically the same stuff, just two different.
Yeah, because I don't have a 44 or a 45, but I have a 40 and a 10. So I figured that's a good place to start, because I carry my EDC is a 40, and then I also have a G20, and I have a Witness too, but the damn thing's broken. But those are the ones I like to shoot, so I figured that's what I should start with, and then probably do 357 and 38 once I kind of get the hang of what I'm doing.
I just realized I'm not even screen sharing here, so I've been sitting here talking about stuff that nobody's even seeing. So how long have you had the thing?
About a month. I just started setting it up tonight, but the garage was a little too warm, so
Oh yeah, that's what started it all. You were saying it's 84 degrees. It's only going to get down to 84. So I hear what you're saying, but I think just to put it in perspective, tonight, I think it'll get down. Let me go find out. It'll probably get down to that. It'll get down to 81, 82. So what you're thinking is too hot, it'll be like my lowest temperature of the night. Like at 4 a.m, it'll barely get down to 82. It's going to get up, they say, to 111, depending on who you listen to on Friday. Really, really, really want to go up a mountain. Because the worst part about 111 is that it doesn't get more comfortable than 82. Like it'll feel cool. Like I'll feel like right now it's 98. When I have the doors open wide, like it feels like it's nice out at 98 degrees. That's how warped they got us manipulated down here. You think you'd be manipulated with your masks? You get it.
It'll probably get down to 65 here.
Oh, that'd be so nice.
Tonight.
But anyway, so you go out and reload at night then, or like you're just waiting for it to cool down, or you're just waiting until it gets to be another season?
No, I was just waiting for it to cool down, so I figured I'd come up, hang out with you guys. I got a weekday night off, so I was able to jump in.
So then, what else do you got to set up on that thing?
Well, I just got it mounted. I got the base mounted, and I just need to install the dies and the powder thing.
And are you talking about the drop, or are you talking like what are you doing for your drop or whatever?
Well, I went with the classic, the Lee Classic 4-turret press kit, so it's got everything you need to.
Oh, okay, so you didn't assemble it; sort of came with a little thing. Okay, that's
cool. I just had to get my casings and bullets and powder.
Who have you been using to like go off of or ask questions to? You got a mentor?
Not really. I've asked. I forget who it was. I asked somebody a couple weeks ago, just about like depriming and cleaning casings. I forget who it was. And then I've asked a couple people, but I don't really have a mentor.
It's one of the things where you're either going to get people that you're going to be their best friend, they'll never shut up, like they're really into it, or you're going to get people that I did it one time and here's how you do it. I always get scared of those people that sound authoritarian, whatever, like they sound like they know what they're doing, but they really have never really done it that much.
Yeah, I figured if I really get stuck, like Two Gun Kitty, he reloads. He's kind of the one that pushed me into trying it, because I had mentioned that I had thought about it before, but wasn't sure where to start or what to do. He's like, "Well, I did it. You can do it." All right.
It's one of those skills I think that you need to have. Whether or not you need to invest in all this stuff is another. Do you shoot like on the regular?
I try and go 2 or 3 times a month, so every other week-ish.
And then that's not matches or anything. That's just
no. That's just going down to the range and shooting. Usually, I'll do about 50 to 100 rounds per gun, depending on if I take anybody with me or how much I feel like shooting.
Well, still, that's sort of a variable, because I know people that'll bring literally every gun they got, or maybe dozens of guns, and then I know people that'll bring like the 2 that I'm practicing or working on. So a couple of 100 rounds per gun, or 100 rounds per gun, and then like 12 guns or 3 guns, or
yeah, I'll usually, if I go by myself, I'll I'll bring 3 or 4. And then if I take someone else, depending on if they've shot before, I'll usually take, one of each caliber that I have, so they can try out the different calibers and see what they might like.
That can get pretty, I don't know what's expensive, but that can get to be using some ammo eventually, right? Especially if they do like something and you're not like being petty about it. You let them keep pulling triggers until they're satisfied or something.
Yeah, it does sometimes, but I try and, especially for someone who's never gone, I want to make it as easy as possible for them to go and just have fun, And
I'm not
I'm
really
willing.
thinking about costs. It's not like you take somebody like, hey, I just got this new convertible. Now let's go talk about miles per gallon or whatever. It's like, now let's just go drive somewhere.
Yeah, I don't ask them ever to pay anything, because I don't want to charge. I don't want it to seem like I'm trying to make money off taking people. My goal is just to get people out there, and maybe they'll pick up a pistol or something. Just get, if they haven't shot, show them that it's not that big scary thing, as long as you're safe. The last guy I took shooting, a week later, he bought his first
I
pistol.
was just going to say, so what's been the success rate? You've taken a couple of people now.
Yeah, had a couple people who've talked about it, and then the last guy, he actually did. He bought a M&P 40. But I figured, if somebody's never been shooting, when they vote, they'll probably, they might vote against guns.
Easily. Because if
And
it's presented to them like there's a bunch of crazies that want to be reckless, so you can just click this box and safety.
yeah.
Who wouldn't? Like, that's, of course, if you're not familiar with it, right?
So if I take them, and everybody that's gone, I've taken 7 or 8 people this year, they've all had fun. All of them leave smiling. And I figure, even if they don't buy a gun themselves, maybe they'll see it differently, and not have that negative view towards gun owners, or gun ownership. I kind of started doing it because I wanted to do something, after I got over I had apathy towards gun laws. I'd see a bad gun law pass, and I think, oh, well, that sucks. And that's as far as I'd go. And then kind of when 1639 was passed in Washington, then it really hit home that I believe in the Second Amendment. I should do something. But I don't know, I didn't know what to do. And kind of you pushing, not me personally, but you would always say, get out there, do something, start a channel, this and that. So I started a channel, and then I started taking people to the range, because that's the one thing I could do, is people I knew, tell them, hey, let's go to the range.
Well, and there's so much more to that, because anybody can tell you anything, and you're going to absorb it or understand it. However, based on some, I guess, perception of the person saying it at you. And that's got to be, there's no way that can be even compared to somebody from work or school or whatever, where you know them and you're like, yeah, here's something that I'm involved with. That's like having a hunter telling you, or taking you hunting, or at least taking you out where they hunt and explaining, the situation and showing you the critters, because obviously the critters exist 24/7, not just when you're hunting. So, going out and experiencing some of that with a hunter, or whatever, a tennis player with tennis, or a tennis place with a tennis player, or golf course with a golfer. Yeah. So, that's got to be so much more useful and what's the word, like beneficial, I guess, than just hearing it from somebody you don't even know. Even if it's the best argument in the world, right? Like, if you don't know the person, how much weight can it possibly have? It's just words at you.
Yeah.
I don't know if I just did a disjustice by putting edge on there, but it doesn't look like it goes to a tip. It looks like it does go to a flat. It would make more sense to go to a flat because a flat can be maintained and measured, right? Like a point would have to be sharpened and it would eventually change. But it definitely looks like flats on there. It doesn't look like dang it, I'm getting mosquito bit. You're in Washington area?
Yeah, I'm just outside Olympia, Washington.
What's the skeeter situation like in that neck of the woods?
Not too bad right here. I live next to a retention pond. It's like 8 feet from the house, but a couple times a year I'll throw those little mosquito dunks that kill the larvae. I'll throw a couple of those in there. And there's
I guess that would be better if there's like a location where they come from, because I think for here there's not anything like that. So they must be coming from like a little bucket here, a little pool of water here, wet leaf or something. There's nowhere to
we've lived in this house about 3 years, and I've had maybe 2 or 3 mosquito bites. So
awesome.
But I'm, real sure to check for, standing water around the property.
You would think it'd be easy in Arizona, but so many weeds and crap, and every time I'm walking around, I'm like, oh, here we go. Like here's like a can that was flipped over somehow, like hidden in the grass, and full of water and mosquito larvae and stuff. It's like they're definitely opportunists. They know what they can smell it probably where it's at.
I never would have guessed there would be a mosquito problem in Arizona.
It's not a problem. I only got bit like twice today, but when you only get bit twice, it's like, dang, I got bit by a mosquito. I'm oversensitive, I guess. Well, the thing is, I took my electric tennis racket thing in the other room and I left it in there. So normally I'm just kind of used to it now. So when I come into a new room, I'll bring my electric tennis racket out and try to kill them. If I can't see them, I know they're there. I didn't do that today. I just came in here and started doing the show without preliminarily laying into them. One of them got me. I blame the dog because I think they go after CO2 and she breathes more than me. So she's attracting them into here. I don't even think she can get bit. A lot of hair. It's like probably not impossible for them to find skin on her. And I certainly don't see her itching nothing at her. Let's see, something going on here. Am I going to be doing the NEA Zombie Challenge? Is that like you're spending $300 on a gun? I don't even have money to pay my taxes at the moment, so there's no possible way. I don't remember last time I bought a gun. I was thinking about that the other day. I don't even know when the last time I bought a gun. It was many years ago. It might have been that Glock I carry. But no, there's no possible way I'm buying a gun. And if I was buying a gun, it would be something interesting or collectible. I don't play their crazy buy gun games. I think that's the first time they've done it, though. Let's see. On Blue 44 channel is a great resource for reloading if you need one-on-one type of videos. All relevant, no tactical. Yeah, I don't know. Of course, Dead Horse is all into reloading. He shares his stuff. He used to do it live a lot. I don't know if he still does live stuff or not. I don't see him on the YouTube doing it. But I know there's like the reloading. I can't think of the name. There's like a forum or something that the Reloading Network, the Reloaders Network, something like that. Have you seen that?
No.
Which is kind of like Gun Channels was, except for with the topic of reloading. I guess they're really into reloading. Let's put it that way. So maybe if you really dig it, you'll find places that people that really get into it. I think it's kind of like a lot of things where, when there's like recipes and procedures and stuff that can be customized, you'll find people that dig it just because they're into the tweaking, into the figuring out, the creation, and the development or whatever you want to call that kind of stuff, and then sharing it with everybody when they figure something else out or a new way to do a caliber. You know, when these Gucci calibers become popular and everybody's got to figure out ways to load for them and stuff. I don't know if you're going to get all into that because obviously there's the, I just need to get some stuff reloaded, like mowing the lawn. You're not looking for the best lawn mower. You just need one that works. And then you lawn mow when you need to, and then when it breaks, you go find another lawnmower that works.
Yeah, for now, I don't foresee getting into the, like trying to create my own caliber or anything
Well, maybe
technical
not.
like that. Just
But what you'll find is
Just-
like, well, I don't know. So why are you reloading? You're reloading 40 and 10. So is this just for economy? Like for money? Save money?
40 and 10 right now, and then probably 357 and 38. Once I get the hang of it, just to have, because like right now the
Oh, so for what do we call it? Like more like for
it's kind of a backup.
So not so much for money, but for just availability.
Like I went up. Yeah, because I'm not. I mean, you're not really saving a lot if you look at the cost of the equipment,
You
and then
I mean, definitely you can eventually, but exactly, you're just in the initial. You're never. It takes a while before you can save any money. But then even then, you have to then count your time. So it's got to be. You got to be getting something out of it for it to be. Most people's time, if they count their hourly rate or something, their time is worth more than the pulling the handle. But that's what I was going to get at is if you're, I don't know so much for 10. I suspect for 10, very much so, just because of the way people talk about it and stuff. For 40, it's probably a lot more like 9. There's probably a lot of things you can learn about 40, but it's probably mostly from matches and competitive and economy people that are trying to build the cheapest 40 that's still technically a 40, right? Because that's definitely a thing. Like if you just want to go throw rounds and it really doesn't matter how effective they are because you're testing your draw or mag changes or something like that, then you might load really, really weak anemic rounds that just allow you to do that, So when you can play around with that, I don't know. But when you're talking like, for me, 44, but I can imagine with 357, on a revolver, it's not so much a mechanical thing as much as like a recoil and experience. I don't want to say like enjoyment, but like experience. So for me, when I started reloading 44, I don't remember if I took it. It was a long time ago. I'd been reloading my whole life. So when I got my stuff and chose 44, I honestly don't remember. It was a long time ago why I chose it. But what I found out was I did it just to do it, and maybe to make my own unique hunting loads, right? Because I was going to hunt with 44 back then. So for whatever reasons, I figured out at the range though that when how you see people that'll reload and they'll do like, oh, I don't know, whatever, like different bullets or maybe different powder weights, and then they'll have it in a box and they've got like 8 different kinds there and some sort of little post-it notes or maybe something written in marker on the box. But there's people sitting there looking at all these different loads and they're shooting them, and until you actually do that, it's amazing. It's sort of like putting different shocks on your car, putting different tires on your car, like different rubber, different shocks, like different ways that you can upgrade, changing polyurethane bushings or something, like things that you don't normally do, but when you do them, your car sticks like glue to the road. Or maybe it's like an ice skate on the road instead of a roller skate, and that's what you're looking for. So it's like when you tune that round into your gun, it's not that it makes it more accurate, it's just that it can really make it more fun to shoot. Like it's just different. So that's what I discovered with 44 is that, I don't know how to describe it, but if there's some range, like the maximum and minimum that you can load for a cartridge, like the range for 44, there's a distinct difference between the light, the medium, and the high. And I think at the time I had a Taurus, a big ass Taurus, because it was the cheapest 44 I could find. I think I own it because I found it at such a good deal at a gun show one time. So I bought it and then I started reloading for it, and I was like, wow, this is really neat. Unfortunately, as neat as it was, that's not what I'm looking for out of shooting. So I eventually got rid of it because as interesting as I found it, I wasn't stopping there. Like that wasn't the end all be all for me. But I could totally see like when I'm old and retired or something, I got nothing else to do, farting around and just tweaking 44 rounds and taking them out and spending an afternoon experiencing them, going back home and making some new ones. So that's something that I guess a long way of saying, like, you might discover that there's some fun and you don't even realize, like something like that, where you take it out and you're like, oh, and that's where you can get it to where it doesn't quite recoil, but they're dead on. And with 44, with just changing the grains, because I didn't have no fancy bullets or nothing. I had whatever bullets I had that I bought in bulk, and I had my cases, whatever primers I bought in bulk. So the only thing I could change was the powder, but just changing the powder, I could change my groups. I could move them left or right. It was really neat. Like, because, me shooting, and it's the same gun, but there's really a difference when you just change a grain or two. So anyway, I had a lot of fun for, a couple of months. And it was a little bit before I was really on YouTube. That was more of the forum days for me. So in the forums, it's a real good pace, because you know how forums are. If you used forums back in the day, it's not like YouTube where we're literally all sitting here. There's 9 people right now, like in this room talking in real time. And the forums, you might type something like, what grain 44, blah, blah, blah question. And then you come back 3 days later and there's like 8 different people from around the country and different experience levels. And they're having a discussion about that. And by the next time you go to sit down in front of the reloader a week later, now you've got something to read before you sit down in front of the reloader, and you've got some new ideas and stuff. So for the pace of the forums and the pace that I was reloading, it worked out really well. Like, I was not going to be every single day I woke up and reloaded, but I would devote like a day or two a week, or every couple of weeks, right? Like a couple of days a month to reloading. And for the forums, that was perfect. I could open up the forum, read whatever I wanted to read about, whatever, do what I was going to do, update, give them my info, and then be gone for another week or 2 weeks or a month. Reloaders Network, it's a great resource, a bit overwhelming. That's what I've heard, that those guys are really, really, really into it. You can use guns you have. I don't know what that is.
I think he's talking about the challenge on that one.
Oh, okay. Oh, so then zombie gun? No, because their zombie gun challenges are usually, they give credit to like 22s because you have a lot of rounds in a magazine, even though they don't work. Magazines notoriously don't work good. They don't extract well. Like, they'll ignore all that and still call it a good gun. Blah, 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 zombies, blah, 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 have a mushy head, I guess. So now you can shoot them with 22s, even though in real life they bounce off of skulls, because skulls are designed to make anything bounce off of them. I saw an interesting thing on a cool ammo channel that I follow on Instagram, where back in the 80s, I think, they would take hollow points and they would cut the top off with a hacksaw and then cut some notches in them with a hacksaw, and then use those because that was the only thing they found that could catch a skull back in the day. There was hollow points and ball and stuff, it all deflects off of a round skull. So they figured out if they basically hacksawed rough, basically a cross into the front of a round, it would catch a skull and actually work as for headshots. But I guess that's something you could. Anyway, so we have different tastes and that kind of stuff. But if I could theoretically do it, I guess I could theoretically come up with something, because I don't have to spend any money. I already own everything. Let's see. Especially on the newest cartridges, that would be true too, because you can only get so many books, right? Stuff probably has to happen a lot faster than the books can keep up with. Highly recommend buying a chrono. Do you already have a chronographer or chronograph, I guess?
No.
That's probably a good point. You get a lot more, what we're talking about, right? Thing that checks the speed or whatever. You get a lot more speed or a lot more feedback. Now, depending on what kind of range you go to, though, you can often rent, for a couple of bucks rent. That's what I did for the longest time, is it's $5 or something. So I figured, I forgot what they cost at the time. They cost like $100. I could rent one 20 times before I would have saved any money buying one. And I forgot where I got. I got the maybe and a number of times, and then I bought this really cheap thing from like the big box store that looked like a bullet. I think Remington made it. It looked like a big, giant, stupid bullet. Like it was designed to be the shape of a giant like bullet, but it was a chronograph, and it was garbage. It was like a toy, broke right away. Then I ended up getting a nice one, and then sold that one. I barely used it. But that's because I barely reloaded. If I would have reloaded, I would use the thing a lot more, I think. Another option is to know somebody that's got one, because usually if you know somebody that's got one and they made it clear that they got one, it's because they're into it, right? They really like it. So more than likely, if you're interested in what they're interested in, they'll come out and let you use it.
Yeah, I don't know if I know anyone with one. I haven't had anyone say they have one yet.
You'll find somebody at a range potentially too, and then it could just be as simple as like, "Hey, are you going to be here on Thursday?" Like, great, I'll be here on Thursday. Reloading is the ultimate expression of being a gun guy. I'd say it's an ultimate expression, but yeah, you definitely are going down the path. Like we have a Californiite in there. How's it going in California out there? Super cheap have zero guts for getting a Cadwell Chrono on sale for $80. Good group and no overpressure on volumes. Confirmed winning mode. Oh, good group, no overpressure signs, and good velocity equals a winning mode. Okay, I never put that in there, but that's probably true. I never got that into it, I guess. I would just shoot the 44s and see where they landed and then go from there. But I imagine on a rifle and stuff, it's probably more important for when you're shooting bit distance too, to get velocity. Make sure you can get out where you need to go and still have energy out there. Because that's the other thing. I only ever shot for accuracy. I figured if I was shooting a pig or something out here, I'd have to be close anyway. But I never really loaded for hunting rifles. I mean, I know people that did though, and yeah, they'd be definitely more interested in how much energy was getting left downrange or being pushed downrange. Can you put my company name somewhere in there? Yeah, I just don't know what it is. But yeah. I put it like right on here, like if it's the name of the thing or whatever. I don't know how much detail you want either, because obviously it's going to be too much detail at some point, I suspect. I'm debating putting the numbers on these inches or whatever these are. They aren't inches. I'm happy I finally figured out how to get my Adobe software to work in inches. It's been in whatever the hell a pixel is, or PX all the damn time, which worse than metric because it's just some made up fucking number. So everything I do is like 1 billion pixels by 7,000 pixels or whatever. And now I finally have it to where I told it, like I figured out the last screen, I think, to where now it just tells me everything in fucking inches right away. Are you guys on the lockdown over there, or are you able to move around freely and whatnot? I only follow a couple of gun shops and that one Leo's Superfood or something from your neck of the woods, and I can't tell if the place is on lockdown or not. The Leo's hasn't posted in a while, so I don't know what that means. Nothing bad. I don't know if that was there, but I'm putting it. Oh, here we go. So I will, oops, wrong one. Click on this. Yeah. And then open into YouTube. So I can steal this. And then I will put it in here quick. And then I'll take this link. I haven't put the link out in a while, but if Foss joined us here, feel free to jump in if you want. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Did I already get it? Or are we talking about something new? What happened? Adobe update. Again. tell you enough how much I like Adobe. There's not too many big giant corporation bullcrap subscription things that I'm a big fan of, but this one I like. I know people that use the standalone software still, but it's some neat stuff. If you got the ability to go for the $50 a month, approximately, it's definitely worth the $50.
Yeah, I follow Allen Precision Manufacturing on Instagram. I didn't realize that was erstwhile.
Yeah. So a lot of times people do that. They'll come up with some crazy name on Instagram for some reason, and then a regular name on the rest of the world. I think that's his work though on Instagram. But yeah, I didn't know how you might want that on there. So yeah. Having that online on that layer. So I'm going to put this way over here. Grab everything on this layer, which is just that layer. Right towards me. All right. So going back to this layer, I can stick it like right here so that it looks like it's on here. It's weird. Let's see. How can a digital canvas be limited? We are in some kind of stage. No indoor dining. Schools are closed mostly in the fall. No theaters. Traffic is like 75%. So would it be possible for me to drive over to California, or would I be like ostracized and kicked out? Like you're not allowed to travel? That's the question. Because I like everything about 75% of normal traffic in LA. I would have liked so much to be able to, if I would have had the money, I would have driven to Vegas and seen it with the lights turned off, because they had the lights turned off for like a month, I think, and then go to Los Angeles and drive around. It would have been like Night of the Comet. It would have been amazing. But I didn't have the money. I was kind of scared. This is not a, oh wait, this is a caliper. What is it called? It is a, oh, I closed the window already. It's called a, like a gauge or something. It is called a tooth caliper. That's what it is. Probably have, you probably already have it if you regularly update. Bigger canvas and stuff. Oh, okay, I think I did see that. And I do, I go in and update the, that thing called, there's some, you basically get this thing, Creative Cloud, it's called. You get this thing that you got to shove on your computer. It's not small. I had to buy this big giant computer basically to handle all of the Adobes. But for that $50 a month, I got Photoshop in here, which I've been using a lot more lately. Illustrator, Adobe Acrobat, who cares, but you get it. InDesign is what I write the books in. Premiere Pro is for writing or for editing videos. After Effects is how you make like the fire explode into your logo, or you make like a bunch of things flip past you on the screen. It's like to make little animations, mostly for the beginning of videos, or when you see like a car screech through the water and a dragon comes out of there and fire bursts out. Like all that kind of stuff is made in After Effects. You take little elements and glue them together, sort of like Photoshop for videos. Animate is an awesome software that lets me play with cartoons, basically. Character Animator is puppets for the cartoons. I think Audition is the sound one, and then Media Encoder is just a piece. And then I got all these other ones I don't even use. So super, super cool software. So yeah, I think I did get that update. But you can see I still got updates to add to pretty much all of them. So I usually go in and check that thing though on the regular. So what that means is when we zoom out, even though, so this piece of stuff right here, if I go to document setup and look at my artboard, this thing is 11 by 17. So this picture here is just a photograph, right, that I pulled off the internet. That's some size, but that white piece right there is basically 11 by 17. So that's 2 pieces of paper stuck together. And that's how much space we have now. I think before we might have had like that much space. So, or is it unlimited, you said? Bigger canvas, yes. I think we got bigger canvas. Let's say before I got to about here and it would say, you can't make this any bigger. So if I was trying to make something really big, or like Angelina tries to make those table covers or like a flag or something that's huge, you know, at some point the software would say, that's really too big. Now we can get way bigger. That's what that means. Let's see. And then file size, I have no idea, but I do know that every once in a while I'll open up a file that gets, or I'll create a file that gets pretty big. And this computer is not the biggest computer in the world, but it's rainy and it can handle it. But it definitely stresses out the software at some point. So I could see how other people doing real stuff and make these things get really, really big. Yeah, and that just has to do probably with the size of hardware. If no one owns the hardware that your software can do, then you're going to tell your software to only go so big so that people aren't disappointed. If they're only ever turning your software on to volume 3, it starts to make their hardware look weak and makes your software almost look bad. So if you make your software to where they're turning their volume up to 7 and then telling them it's their hardware that doesn't let them turn them up to 10, that's not as bad. You're not making them feel as bad as if you only let it turn it up to 3 and tell them if they had better hardware, they could turn it up to 10. I think that's part of it. Because we had potential way before the internet or the computers could do the stuff that we wanted to do. Getting from, yeah, that's amazing. So from where you're at to the airport, yeah, that's nuts. Yeah, plus it would be neat just to, I don't know if you've been driving it, but I would think it would be neat to drive, I don't know the names of all them streets, but you know where I like to go in, I keep wanting to say Maui, but it's Malibu, where I like to go. There's those, I don't know what they're called, but there's these like mountain roads that come from the Hollywood Hills, I think, or at least the mountains around Hollywood, and they go down to the shore. So they're like curvy mountain roads, but the ocean's right there. Like that would probably be a lot more fun when there's nobody on the roads. I'm guessing if there's nobody on the roads, that means that nobody's just out taking like a Sunday drive either. But kind of here and there, I can't afford to go to California. I think it costs me like $400 every time I drive over there. $300 in gas, plus I got to eat. I don't know. I think the gauge is used more this way, so this would be, at least this is the way the actual gauge markings are oriented. All right, so for now, we're going to consider that a layer and start working on this layer. All right, so with that, we've been chatting for an hour, and the goal of this show is to be a conversation. So if anybody's got anything else to chat about, we can do that. Otherwise, I can go back to doing other things as well. Why is this thing not letting me? It does that sometimes. This layer is broke or something. Because it won't let me attack stuff. During the weekdays, the beach look pretty empty. Weekend packed. Interesting. So are the beaches open? I'm assuming where I'm talking about, you can't stop. Well, I guess they could put up ropes or something. I was going to say they really can't stop anybody because it's just the street, really. The street goes right to the ocean. Of course, I can't imagine why that's not the most popular vacation spot in the world. You're basically hanging out next to Rockford Files for free. Oh, I see what happened. I put this thing on top of the other layer, so now I'm not going to see nothing. So I need to come over here and drop that under, and now I can see where I need to be. All right, well, I put the link out there. Nobody's jumping in. Angelina, if you're still listening, we need to chat because I need to chat with you about a couple of things, actually. So whenever you get a chance, let's chat off the air. And I guess, unless Ross says anything else, we'll get to wrapping it up. I don't mind being live, but I just, when it's quiet like that, I just focus on the mosquito bites and the fan noise, and it's boring. I'd rather have something on that I can listen to. I should do this on GunTube, and then I could just turn off the stream to YouTube and then watch a movie or something. There's a couple of chats I could listen to, I guess.
So how's Arizona handling are you guys locked down, or like for Washington, there's different phases and it's county by county. Different counties are in different phases. How does it work for Arizona?
Well, Arizona's big, but it's like a corridor down the middle. And that means, in effect, we have two counties that have any population. The county with Tucson, which is bigger than the state of Connecticut. It's the whole bottom of Arizona. And then the county where Phoenix is in, that's Maricopa County. Everybody knows about that because the sheriff makes people wear pink underwear and stuff. So that county has however many millions of people Phoenix has, and then our county has 1 million. And then the rest of Arizona has like 15 people, and 70% of Arizona is government owned, private land or public land, whatever you want to call forest and BLM and stuff. And then the 20% of Arizona is native, so it's their own government. And then the little bit that's left is the 3 million people or whatever that live in all the rest of Arizona in those two counties. So to the long answer your story, the counties are, I don't know if they're doing things. I think the counties must be doing something themselves, and then there's the state, but they're all kind of in lockstep. So even though they're technically separate, it doesn't really matter because they're all doing the same thing. And what they're doing is trying hard to appease and promote or whatever, appeal to the people moving from California, I suspect, because they're super Democrat and trying everything they can to blame it on Trump and make, follow every Democrat health, proclamation that's there. And so there's no consistency. There's only consistency to the party agenda. Like there's no because first we resisted everything, and then it was imminent, and then this was months ago, and then we went into lockdown, and then we got out of it because everything was fine, but then nope, we got to go back into lockdown. And I suspect we're going to be one of those states because we're had been barely Republican, I think, and we're barely Republican means almost Democrat. I think we're going to be one of those states Bloomberg's throwing a bunch of money into, other interests will throw money into, and we're going to be one of those states that, because our Democrat governor and cities are going to hate Trump so bad, they're going to do everything possible to keep it horrible. Do everything they can possibly do to keep it crazy until November.
That's kind of the way it's gone with Washington. Our governor hates Trump. Trump hates him. And so I knew he would not let he put a freeze on all the stages. So I think it goes up to like 4. Where our county is at 3, but he put a freeze so none of the counties can advance. You have to stay where you're at, and I think he'll keep it like that for a while. That's I was fairly sure he would do that to begin with. When this all started, it came out with a stay-at-home mandate, people didn't really listen to him, didn't wear masks, and he got upset and said, people aren't listening to what I told them to do. So then he started all the phases and all that. And it's just kind of a mess, I think.
Well, that's the goal, because if anybody who wants to challenge the existing infrastructure can just sit down and go, oh, it's a mess, and therefore it's their fault, and vote for us. And then the other side can go, oh, there's no way to win this, so therefore it's a mess. It's their fault for finding the fame to vote for us again, right? Like they both seem to be able to, I don't want to say profit, but they're both content with just existing through this and then blaming the other side for the woes or whatever. Or something.
Well,
it seems like they're both content to profit off of this.
and now he's doing press conferences on television like 2 or 3 times a week.
Your governor?
Yeah. So it's
like a Cuomo-esque type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's more and more like a dictator,
Well, it's people that, I'm guessing people that run for office strive for, look for attention anyway, right? That's why they ran for office, or they think they're something better than everybody. And then something like this comes along where if they say nothing, then there's no cameras. But if they got an opinion, there's a camera. And if they got an opinion that bigger, better, different, blah, blah, then they get more cameras, right? So how much of this is like, as long as there's a camera there, they're going to have something to say no matter what.
Yeah, he ran for president too, but nobody knew who he was. Everybody ignored him.
Who was this?
Governor Inslee.
I don't remember that. When did he run for president?
Yeah, he was even at one or two of the debates that, when they had like 20 people up there.
Yeah, the last time around?
I think it was maybe the first couple debates he was at. And then
this year, I mean.
What's that?
This year though, like this election cycle?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I didn't know. But then, like you say, if it was with a whole bunch of them, how many people? I mean, you don't remember most of them from that, I guess.
Yeah.
Most of us don't remember them, I guess.
And, there was no way. There's no way anybody would know who he was or care who he was. And so I don't know if he's just posturing to try and, if Biden gets in, looking for a government job. Because we've had one of our previous governors, Clinton picked him to, I forget what he did for Clinton, but worked for the Clinton administration, Governor Locke.
But the thing is, I haven't gone anywhere or done too much, so I haven't really been affected. The main thing is my gyms. That purple gym I belong to, the Planet Fitness one, is basically shut down everywhere. So that's my biggest thing. Like when that thing's around, when that was available, right? I could go, okay, well, I'm going to go to Phoenix, or I'm going to go like Flagstaff or Big Sandy or wherever. And I knew I could just go to the parking lot of my gym and hang out for free, right? So I could go anywhere just for gas. That made it more possible for me to go places on a whim or to see some or for an occasion or whatever. So I'm obviously not doing that anymore. So I've experienced a lot less of Arizona than a typical year, I think.
Yeah, I haven't really been doing anything either, except work. And I don't have to go to, I'm a night manager at a grocery store, so I'll just pick something up.
You know Pink? You ever chat with Pink?
Not personally. I know I've seen him talk about, when he's at work, but I've never talked to him.
Okay. Well, obviously you have the same job, so you're obviously compatible. You're gonna be best friends.
But so, if I need something, I pick it up after work. I did go to the bank today, but you have to wait outside, and then somebody will come let you in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That sucks. They can't do that here though, because it's 109. So
Uh,
I don't even think they make you wait in your car anywhere. I guess that's possible, but I could see that being a thing. That would be messed up.
but I
I've
just
heard
needed.
that for, where did I hear that? I heard that for something, but it was like a gun shop or someplace where they were asking people, when you show up, call us, and then we'll text you when you can come in.
Yeah, I've seen places around that have done stuff like that. But yeah, went to the bank, got home, and then was gonna put my gun in the safe. Opened up the door, and it's already in the safe. I forgot to put my gun in my holster when I went out.
Oh shit! I thought you were gonna say you went out and bought another gun with the same gun or something.
No.
That's weird. So I guess you just forgot that step in the routine or some shit.
Yeah, I was just trying to hurry up and get down there so I could get back, and I had my holster on. I just forgot to put a gun in it.
The closest thing is I don't remember when anymore, but I do remember I was driving somewhere one time, and it was a pretty routine thing. It was like going to the post office or something. It wasn't anything too worried, so I ended up doing it. But I got like in the car and out of the house, like I was on my way already, and then I figured out I forgot my phone, and that freaked me out. Like, that was the closest thing. But I don't know, for whatever reason, I probably because of where I got it, it's it's just there. It'd be difficult to forget the gun, I think. Or it's already in my pocket. Like if I'm just already wearing my pants that I'm going out in, it's already in my pocket. But
Oh, yeah, I use a inside the waistband holster. But I've been carrying my PPK lately, so you get it right in the right spot, and you don't even notice it's there. And today it wasn't there.
well, that's the problem. If you get yourself a big obnoxious gun, then you never have that problem. You can't walk around without knowing it's missing. If you walk around going, oh, that's nice. Whenever your gun's not on, then you're not doing yourself any favors. You just always have like some kind of obnoxious trigger, or I mean hammer jabbing you in the ribs. I guess if the trigger's jabbing you in the ribs, you're doing something. But the hammer jabbing your ribs is okay. So Erstwhile is saying, looks like I'll be getting fiber laser soon. If a job gets confirmed, that might think of something cool to make on it. Right on. Yeah. At some point, maybe said something about Friday. Jump in and I'll chat with you about this thing that I heard about or I saw a guy doing. And now I'm all jealous of, and I'm gonna attempt. Basically, he bought a thing because he's super rich YouTuber guy. He bought a thing for like $1,800, and even if I was super rich, I wouldn't pay $1,800 for this thing because it's like 4 parts and 6 of them everybody already has, right? Or I mean, it's 6 parts and 4 of them everybody already has. So then there's this other thing you can make the contraption basically out of like attach it to a drill press, put it into a drill or add it to a drill press, and then it takes a bunch of the work. But I'm just going to make the whole thing, and once I tell you about it, you'll see what I'm talking about. Where I think you can help me out a lot with this one part, and I'm really looking forward to it because it's sort of like what I've been wanting to do, but with a twist or whatever. Because of, I don't even think it's new tech. I think it's just somebody found something new, and I happen to find it also because I'm watching that other guy. But I think it's actually been around for a long, long time, and I just didn't know about it. Probably because it costs $1,800, and I don't go around looking for stuff that costs $1,800. Well, I think these are about the last two little nodules I need to do on this drawing, and then it'll be filled. And that'll mean I'm probably going to end it because I'm concentrating more on itching this mosquito bite on my ankle. Somebody saying nothing. Why is he saying no showers, damn it? What's all that about?
He likes to take a bath. So what was the final number on the patch?
What do you mean? Which number?
Your goal percentage or whatever.
The percentage, I think, was 210 or 201. Like 397 or 390, like really close to 400 people. And I don't remember the money. The money was like 20,000 or more.
How did it compare to the one last year?
Well, last year was more like 10 grand. Like it funded and then just a hair more. This year it funded and then 200%. So it got much higher than last year.
Are all the designs in for the patches or?
Yeah, I finally got Tony's. This actually looks pretty cool. So finally got Tony's. I forget when, but everything is now in with the thing. So I figure I'll do another update when I hear back from. I think Tony's the last. I think we've seen everybody's art except for Tony. So I'll probably post something like all of the final arts as an update to the project or whatever, the campaign, so that people can see what's happening. But as soon as we start seeing rubber, that'll be more fun too. Because right now it's just almost the exact same. If we send them art, what they send back is very, very, very similar. Just missing, or I mean, all it really does is add the border around the outside, kind of, for the channel where you sew the Velcro on. So it's not really all that different. But once we see rubber, it'll be a lot more interesting, I think. I want to see I want to see all of them, really. A couple of them haven't been done before. And it'd be neat to see like the pistol. I think Liberty Dolls will look cool. I tried to do girls' faces. I don't know how many times. I don't know if Angelina's still out there. But I've tried to do girls' faces for like October. Then this one other project, and they came back looking goofy as hell. Like not even, I don't know how to describe it. Like they just, like I don't understand. Like those people are human beings. So like whoever did the art or whatever is just trying to, either they know the limitations of their machines or they're trying to be like, hey, F you, I'm not making this. Because what they gave back as like a sample for a girl's face looks stupid. So I think the Liberty Doll one is the best looking girl's face thing that I've seen on the patch, or at least the best version of like her art, like the best interpretation that I've seen.
I thought that Liberty Doll patch looked really nice.
Yeah, considering like she's got like the glasses and the mouth. Like we did one for Cheryl, and there's only so much they're going to be able to do turning a piece of art into, especially a piece of art that you drew on a computer, blah, 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 with like all perfect and stuff. Like there's only so much they're going to be able to do into rubber. So that took quite a bit of work to get Cheryl's mouth basically on that one, where everybody was happy. And again, it's like the people that build these things are humans. I don't know what they're thinking. Like they got to know women. Like, come on, dude. Like, why are you doing that? Like, who's going to be satisfied with this? This doesn't even look like a person. Unless you think this is for some sort of parody or something, like why would you even turn this in as like a thing? We did this one with October. I tried to do like, how like October girls, German beer wenches, I guess. Like tried to do a thing with 3 girls on it, and it was like, what the fuck, dude? Like this is supposed to be 3 girls. Why'd you give me this? It looked like, I don't know what to call it. Like I should probably go find that actually. And put it out someday just to show like the dumb aggravations of when you try to do things across, I think it's just language barrier, but you know, I try to do things across email and language barriers with other creative things with other people. But who knows, maybe that's the way that like somebody in, I don't know, some other country portrays, you know, females or something. That's the way that you do it there.
So do they send you physical patches to look at, or just send you pictures of what they're doing?
You can ask for either way. I know what they're doing now. I trust them, so I don't have to have the thing. It takes longer, obviously, if they're going to send you one. But if you really, really want one, they can send you one. At least every place I've ever dealt with will send you one. They'll charge you for it. They're not doing it for free. And it's not cheap because they got to make one and then they got to send it to you. It can cost like $50.
Wow.
But and you know, it's sort of like $50, assuming you're going to keep buying, you know, you're going to continue to buy these. If you just went around saying, hey, can I get one for $50 and then cancel the order, I bet you that would burn your bridge pretty damn quick. I think, just because you think all the work that goes into that, and then there's no way they got paid back for $50. Oh, road showers. So what's going on here? Oh, right. So the gym, that's what you're talking about. You may have to try truck stop after all. No, I think the truck stops are got to be still open for truckers, right? Like they're still doing their thing. And I'm guessing truckers still got to take showers and stuff. So I'm sure that stuff is still open. I was a little more, I am still a little more concerned that I would get like athlete's foot or something at a trucker shower. But I really don't know why. I mean, there's probably just as much odds me getting an athlete's foot at a gym shower. It's just that the gym ones are like, you know, they're whatever, like individual shower rooms or whatever. So I get the impression, especially now, that they're going in there and just dumping a bunch of bleach or whatever they do. Occasionally to not get the athlete's foot. Because they'd be more worried about it in the gym.
Just get some cheap flip-flops.
Well, no, I wear flip-flops too, but I mean, I don't know. I've been in the army. You just get paranoid about certain shit. They make you all paranoid about stupid shit. I don't know. Did you ever have to go through basic or anything? They make you watch these movies whenever you're like, well, at least for us, whenever they weren't making us do something, they'd have you parked in front of a movie theater. Well, not a movie theater. I guess half the time it was a movie theater, actually. Especially in basic. Anyway, they'd make you sit there watching, you know, like hygiene movies, or like, hey, if you're ever in the Orient, you know, pee every time you do this, or like, you know, wash this off every time you think about doing that. So when you're 18, you're at, you know, they probably put something in the water, or they gave us some kind of shots, because there's things that I talked to people before, and it's like, oh yeah, I guess we all do that by out of habit. And pretty much the only person that ever told us to do things that way was our uncle. Because, you know what I'm saying, like when you're, I don't know, let's say if you've ever dealt with that shit, being pulled away, doing something totally new, you're young, you're probably super impressionable. So we're probably doing a whole bunch of dumb things, probably all making our beds a certain way and shit like that, you know, that we don't even realize. All right, I think I'm done tweaking with this. I'll be tweaking with it forever. How's that look? Does that work? And then what are we talking about? Putting it into a circle? Or what are we talking about? What are you thinking? Put a laser on it. And I went with the orientation this way. I could easily, you know, move it in any direction. Make it more like your thing in that direction, I think. Whoa, then that doesn't change that. So, all the layers. All right, so we still got 7 people out there. And if there's anything you want to chat about, I open up a room every night so we can have a conversation and drop links out there so you can join in like Foss has. Barbecue does it occasionally. Others will jump in. Feel free. You know, The whole point is if you're going to allow others to tell you what to focus on and then you spend all your waking time for focusing on what they tell you to, who's the puppet? So we don't do what they're telling us to talk about. We do whatever the hell we feel like on this show. You're part of it. The thing is, if I do it this way, it says this upside down. So maybe I should flip this over, which I should not rock it. It's possible to flip this over. That makes more sense. And then what do you call it? Like a circle or what? So I can go to here, a circle, go out to the center and hold down Shift so that it'll be a circle. Alt so that it'll start in the center and work its way out. That is pretty big. And then we'll make the center nothing, and we'll make the outside blue, because blue's cooler than any other color. And how am I going to do this? If I tried to make, well, I guess that actually works out. Maybe back in. And then get this artboard so that you can actually see what we're doing here. You're not fighting with it. The artboard doesn't exist. It's just a figment, a white figment of imagination on this big gray nothing. So it's just a place to see white. You can make it whatever size you want by over here thinking with it. But it doesn't exist. It's not part of it. It's not part of the layers or nothing. So that's similar to what you got there. So that's what I'm going to go with, but of course we can think with it or alter it or whatever anytime you want. Nice thing about having it built in Illustrator is you've got the different parts or different layers. Actually, I'm going to make this part its own layer. So, now, I guess I could open up all of those, highlight them, and then open up this, or no, highlight all those and group them, just for the hell of it. Highlight that, and then try to center it all. Yeah, that's what it looks like, centered. That's where I like it. Now, some people will probably end up then putting it on stuff like this, and then it would look like an L. Or what's up? Is Leo's in Illinois. Leo's Superfood is in, it's like across the street from Angelina's house. It's a vegan restaurant in California. All right, so then I will, I don't know what to call it. We'll just call it erstwhile. So we'll export it as a ping. And that'll make it a clear background. And then I can go to the thing and tell the inside to be white instead of not white. And then put it under the other stuff. And then when we save this one, it'll have, oops. White background. So that'll be kind of like a Patra sticker or something. All right, so you got those two. I'll send them to you. Do I have your email? If I don't, email me, Gmail, or go to websites at gmail.com, and then I can email that to you tonight. Otherwise, we can tweak it on Friday if you want. Change. Oh, you know what I was thinking is I was gonna make the calipers on different layers, and then we can move the calipers if you wanted. That would be neat. In fact, doing the calipers on different layers would allow you to animate the thing. That would be kind of cool too. Have it like do one of them deals where like the whole thing goes like this, and while it's doing it, like the arms are moving or something. You would do that in After Effects. well, you could do it about 6 different ways, but I think After Effects would be the place to do that. You would have, the main thing is one layer. You'd have one of the thingies, JAWS or whatever, is the other layer. This little depth thingy is the third layer. And then you could move those layers independently, as the camera was sort of moving around to give it some multiple movement effects or whatever that would be called. All right, well, good. So thanks again for your support, and happy to be able to draw this for you. Hopefully it works out for you. Like I say, we can think with it, change things around or whatever. I've been kind of looking, and I don't like there's like more detail on this arm than there is on this one. And I'm not sure if I got a good, I think it's just missing some of the lines. That's why it looks a little more detailed over here or something than this one. But otherwise, I think I got the balance about right on it. Anyway, so with that, Foss, you got anything else?
I don't think so.
Right on. Thanks for jumping in. Hopefully it's cooled down a little bit. We've been chatting for like an hour or something. So go out and do some reloading. If you're bored reloading, I guarantee you if you go live while you're reloading, somebody will jump in and mansplain or chat with you. People just dig watching other people reload. It's therapeutic or something, and gives you right away, there's things to talk about, right? Like it instigates conversation. So, and it could be any time too, because I bet you in the middle of the night you get a couple of truckers and third shifters. Well, that's why I do my show in the middle of the night. Y'all are the best people to talk to. Middle of the day, you get a bunch of looky-loos and blah blahs and anonymous trolls and shit. I'd rather have you 7 people here. Well, not all 7 you people. Maybe 5 of you people, the 2 weirdos that hang out in Discord doing horrible things in their grandparents' basement. Those people I could care less. It's hard to get rid of them. But the rest of y'all, I'd rather chat with y'all than have the people during the moment. That's why I do it during the night, because I'd rather chat with y'all than the people during the day. So with that, I will end this one. We'll be back to pick you up later.